Rich, famous, a model, and the winner of the Super Bowl. Many people look at this man as he's been on covers of magazines such as ESPN and Sports Illustrated and think, he must be one of the happiest men on the planet because he's successful. But in an interview with CNN, Tom Brady sat down and said, "Sometimes I don't know what my success is for. I'm rich and I'm famous and I have everything that the world wants, and yet I'm not happy." And this is helpful when we look at today's quote from author Anna Quindlen. If your success is not your own, or on your own terms, if it looks good to the world but does not feel good in your heart, it is not success at all. And we will see the clear truth of this point fulfillment within themselves. And finally, we will ask the question, where do we go from here? So first, the rich, the famous, and the unhappy. There's so many people that look at the quote-unquote American dream and say, if I could have this, or if I could have that, I would be a happy person. But that's not true. The author Donald Miller, the author of the book Blue Like Jazz, and of the book Storyline, started an organization after his book Storyline in order to reach out to people and give them a way to find fulfillment in life. He said that surprisingly, about 80% of the clients that come to them looking for meaning are people in the top percent of earning in America. That those who are successful, that everyone looks at and think they have it all, they're the ones that don't feel successful in their own hearts. They're dealing with a lack of self-fulfillment. And that leads into the second point. The quiet servant. The person that works hard, is perseverant, and the world looks at and says, what are they doing? But they can stand firm and say, I'm doing something good. A great example of that is my friend Mark Harrington. He has worked for the last 30 years doing pro-life work. And as a pro-life activist, doesn't get a whole lot of credit for the work that he does. And yet he's been persistent, and he knows that what God is doing through his life means something, that he's successful, even though people, both within the world and the church, look at him and say that he is not doing something worthwhile. Because he knows what really brings fulfillment is to do something worthwhile and not to be successful by the world's standards. Finally, where do we go from here? We've looked at two ends of the spectrum. One, the worldly successful man, the one on TV interviews and magazine covers, or the one who doesn't get any credit at all, but feels fulfilled at what he does. The choice is yours. There are many men that work hard, get rich, and get famous, and yet end their lives feeling empty. But on the other end, you can do something that means something to you, even if it doesn't mean anything to those around you, and change the world. So that's my question. What will you do with the speech that has been given today? What will you do with those examples? Today we've talked about the rich, the famous, and the unhappy, the quiet servant. And what will we do when contrasting those two extremes? I would encourage you not to look at the American dream and all of its emptiness and believe that it will bring you fulfillment. But instead, live a life that matters. Because when you live a life that matters, you can die with your head held up high, knowing that you did something that was not worldly successful, but was successful by your own standards.